My parents used a pregnancy to pressure me into giving up my home, so I lawyered up. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm 30, single, and apparently the only person in my family who understands what private property means. 3 weeks ago, my dad looked me in the eye across a plate of overcooked lasagna and said, "Eric, you should sign your house over to your brother. He needs it more than you." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. I laughed, said I'd think about it. Then I went home, changed every lock on every door, installed security cameras, and put up a no trespassing sign that could be seen from low orbit. They're still waiting for my answer. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I had some traumatic Dickensian childhood. I wasn't beaten or locked in a cupboard. I had clothes, meals, a roof. But my older brother Lucas? That man got the deluxe golden child treatment while I got whatever was left over. If Lucas wanted a pony, they'd have asked me to shovel the stable. He's 3 years older, and somehow 3 lifetimes more spoiled. When I was 13, I bought a beat-up secondhand bike after saving chore money for months. Lucas mentioned wanting one, and boom, Dad whisked him to the bike shop that weekend. Came back with a $700 mountain bike. When I asked why Lucas got a new one, Dad patted my shoulder and said, "You're more responsible. You can handle a fixer-upper." In high school, I had straight A's. Lucas got C's and a prom crown. Guess who got all the attention? Not the nerd with the honor roll. And sure, maybe I used to be bitter about it. But by my 20s, I figured, hey, some families have favorites. Mine just didn't bother hiding it. Fine, let him dote on Lucas. I'd build something real on my own. So while Lucas bounced around, finding himself, DJing, drop shipping, trying to start a dog yoga business, I was working night shifts at a shipping warehouse, paying my own way through community college. Then came the house. I bought it at 27. No help from anyone. Just me, a lot of bad coffee, and a relentless Zillow addiction. It was a tiny 3-bedroom ranch, 40 minutes out of the city, and it needed a ton of work. But it was mine. And now? Now they want me to hand it over. Because Lucas has a baby on the way and apparently needs a real home, unlike the one he's been living in rent-free for the past 6 months at our parents'. I've got 7 more parts of this story to tell you, and trust me, it only gets messier from here. Dinner that night was like walking into a trap I already knew was there. Mom texted me earlier that day, "Come by for Sunday dinner." Nothing fancy, just family time. Which is how I knew it absolutely wasn't just family time. They only roll out the "nothing fancy" line when something's about to go down. I show up at 6. Lucas is already there, of course. His girlfriend Chloe is 6 months pregnant, glowing in that exhausted, "please don't make me smile" way. The good dishes are on the table. Mom's making her famous lasagna, which is mostly cheese and regret, and Dad is standing awkwardly with a glass of wine he doesn't even drink. Lucas flashes me this sheepish, lopsided smile like he already feels guilty, which, coming from him, is suspicious enough to be considered a weather warning. We eat. Small talk. Ultrasound photos get passed around like trading cards. Chloe tells me about the baby's name like I'm supposed to be honored it's something normal. I nod, act interested, smile at the right moments. All the while I'm watching the clock tick down to whatever this is. Then dessert comes out, Mom's apple pie. I haven't seen that pie since the last time she asked me for a small favor, which turned out to be helping Lucas move for the 4th time in 3 years. I didn't even get to keep the damn pie. So yeah, when that pie hit the table, I put down my fork and just waited. Dad cleared his throat, sat forward like a guy about to give a TED talk on why logic doesn't apply when you're the disappointment child. "Eric," he said, "we wanted to talk to you about something important." And just like that, we were off. According to them, Lucas and Chloe needed a real home. Not a 1-bedroom rental. Not a starter apartment. A proper family home. And guess who happened to already own a 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood with a fenced-in yard and good schools? "Your house is perfect for them," Mom said, like she was describing a second-hand couch I wasn't really using. "You live alone," Dad added, like that made me morally obligated to donate my property. I blinked. "Okay," I said slowly. "So what exactly are you suggesting?" Lucas stared at his pie. Chloe stared at me. And then Dad dropped it. "Sign the house over to your brother." Just like that. I actually laughed. Not a nervous laugh. Not a confused laugh. A real, chest-deep laugh that made Dad flinch and Mom purse her lips like I just farted in church. "You want me to what?" I asked, still grinning. "Sign the house over," Dad said again. Like repetition would suddenly make it sane. Just think about it. It's for your brother's family. You're single, Mom added helpfully. You could get a nice apartment. Something manageable. Oh, how generous. They let me rent now. How progressive. I bought that house, I said slowly. With my money. I worked night shifts, skipped vacations, lived off canned soup and YouTube plumbing tutorials for 2 years to fix that place up. We know, Mom said, and you should be proud. But Lucas needs it more now. There it was. That line. He needs it more. That was the family mantra growing up. Lucas needs help with his science project, so I did both. Lucas needs the car Friday, so I stayed home. Lucas needs money for textbooks, so I worked weekends and paid for my own. Why doesn't he just find his own place? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Dad exhaled like I was being deliberately obtuse. The market's changed. Prices are crazy now. Oh, you mean it's hard? Like it was when I was saving up? Back when you told me it would build character to figure it out myself. Dad's face tightened. Lucas finally spoke. Come on, man. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. I need to give my kid a real home. I looked at him. Really looked at him. He believed this. That this was reasonable. That this was how family worked. That I work, he benefits. That I sacrifice, he settles in. No, I said. Absolutely not. Mom gasped like I'd slapped her. Eric. No, I repeated. Not giving him my house. Not renting it to him. Not discussing it. The answer is no. Dad's voice dropped to that low growl he used when we were kids. You're being selfish. There it was. The magic word. Selfish. The insult that always came when I didn't fold fast enough. I stood up. I think I've heard enough. You're walking out. Dad said. We're trying to have a conversation. No, I said, grabbing my coat. You're trying to guilt trip me into handing over the only thing in my life that's mine. There's a difference. And I left. Spoiler, they didn't take it well. The next morning, I changed every lock on my house. Front door, back door, garage, even the shed. Cost me almost $400, but worth every penny. I knew my parents. If they thought there was even a chance I'd cave, they'd try to slide in while I was at work with a box of baby clothes and a contractor ready to childproof the place. I wasn't giving them the opening. After the locksmith finished, nice guy, named Barry, didn't ask questions, just nodded when I said, family drama. I took it one step further. Drove to the hardware store and bought a proper, no-nonsense, no trespassing sign. Not the cute kind with a cartoon dog. The kind that screams legal consequences. Planted it at the edge of my driveway, double-bolted into the dirt. Then I called my mortgage company and put a password on my account. I called my bank and set up verbal authorization locks. I called the county office and paid $15 to have a fraud alert placed on my deed. If anyone, and I mean anyone, tried to file a property transfer without me, I'd get an email and a phone call. Because again, I know my family. And they did not disappoint. By Wednesday, my dad showed up. I watched him try his old key first. The look on his face when it didn't work? Chef's kiss. He knocked. I opened the door just a crack. You changed the locks? He asked. Sure did. He took a slow breath. You really think I'd go behind your back? Yes, I said. Absolutely. I'm your father. And that's why you should understand how serious I am about this. He shook his head like I was the problem. What happened to you? I got tired, I said. Tired of pretending like I'm part of a family that only calls when they want something. He left, but not before telling me I'd regret this someday. I didn't. Still don't. But the real fireworks? They started the next day. Thursday morning, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. Hi. Is this Eric Dawson? The woman asked, way too cheerful for 8:23 a.m. Who's asking? I'm a real estate attorney representing your family. We're helping facilitate a property transfer and just needed to verify a few details about your deed. I hung up so fast I probably gave her whiplash through the phone. Then I called the county recorder's office again, confirmed my fraud alert was active, asked if anyone had tried to file anything. They said not yet, but someone had requested a copy of my deed 2 days earlier. Guess who? Walter Dawson, the clerk said. Yeah, I muttered. That's my dad. She paused. Want to bump your alert to high priority? Yes. Yes, I do. After that, I called my lawyer. Not a big shot suit, just the guy who helped me close on the house. Told him what was going on. He actually laughed. You'd be surprised how common this is, he said. Family and property don't mix. Can we send them something official? Oh, absolutely. A nice firm letter should do the trick. So we did. One certified letter to my parents' address, kindly informing them that I would not be transferring ownership of my property. Any further attempt to pressure, manipulate, or fraudulently alter title would result in legal action. I had retained legal counsel, and yes, I was prepared to escalate. Things got real quiet after that, for about 3 days. Then Sunday morning, I woke up to see my mom's car parked at the end of my driveway, just sitting there. She wasn't trying to come in. She was just watching my house. I stood behind the curtains, sipping my coffee, watching her watching me. She stayed for 2 hours. Never got out. Didn't call. Just stared, like I was going to crack. I didn't. But it shook me more than I expected. Because if you've ever had your own mother silently stake out your front yard like she's casing the joint, you know it's not about a house anymore. It's about control. And I was done letting them have any. Part of me hoped that driveway surveillance stunt was the grand finale, that they'd finally realized I wasn't bluffing. Nope. Tuesday night, I came home to a certified letter from a law firm. New name, new envelope, same family-sized nerve. Inside was a request for mediation. Not a lawsuit. Not a threat. A suggestion that we settle this as a family dispute through neutral legal channels. They were trying to drag me into a sit-down with a third party to decide whether I should be forced to give up my house. Like I was a custody battle. I called my lawyer again. He read the letter, chuckled, and said, "They really thought that would work? Can they make me go? Not unless you agree to it." Cool. Then let's respond. He sent them a new letter. This one was short, sharp, and way less polite than the last one. It said, in lawyer speak, "Not only is this not happening, but if you contact my client again in any form regarding the house, we will file for a restraining order and pursue damages." 2 days later, Lucas texted me. Lucas. Not mom. Not dad. Him. "Hey man, I know things got weird. Can we just talk? Please. No drama. Just 5 minutes." I didn't respond. 3 hours later, he was standing on my porch at 10:30 at night. He looked rough. Put up. Dark circles under his eyes. Baby monitor in one hand, as if that would gain sympathy. I spoke through the security intercom. "What do you want?" "I'm not here to fight," he said. "Just can I come in? Just to talk?" Against my better judgment, and trust me, everything about this was a bad idea, I opened the door. He stepped in like he was trespassing in a museum, perched himself on the edge of my couch like the floor might bite him. "I screwed up," he said. "I know that. You think. Chloe's crying every night. The baby's coming soon, and we're still in that shoebox apartment. Mom's freaking out. Dad won't let it go. He looked up at me, and for the first time in years, he actually seemed small. "I thought you'd help me." "I would have helped you," I said, "if you'd asked for actual help. But you didn't. You asked for my house." He didn't deny it. "You sat there at that dinner and let them gang up on me," I said. Didn't say a word. "You just hoped I'd cave so you wouldn't have to struggle." "I thought that's what family did," he muttered. "Help each other." "No. You thought family meant I give and you take. But that's not helping. That's enabling." He rubbed his face. "What if I paid you for it? Like full market value. Over time." "No," I said instantly. He blinked. "You didn't even think about it." "I don't need to. This house isn't for sale. Not to you. Not to anyone." And that's when it finally started to sink in for him. "You're really not going to change your mind?" "Nope." He stood, nodded once. "You know what Mom says? That you're cold. Heartless." "Mom says a lot of things," I said, "especially when she doesn't get her way." He left without another word. And for a moment, I felt bad. Just a flicker. But then I remembered the certified letters, the stakeout, the attempted ambush dinner. And that flicker burned out real fast. Still with me? Because next part of story is where it all boils over. I thought that might be the end of it. Lucas had walked out. No yelling. No slammed doors. Just quiet resignation. That should have been a wrap. Except, of course, this is my family, and logic doesn't live here anymore. Next morning, 7:06 a.m., I woke up to 12 missed calls from Mom. 12. And 3 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them. I already knew the contents. Guilt, lightly seasoned with tears and baked in a crust of, "How could you do this to your brother?" I didn't reply. That afternoon, I got a text from Dad. "This isn't over." Blocked. I blocked all of them. Mom, Dad, Lucas, even the group text. If they wanted to reach me now, they'd have to write an actual letter, buy a stamp, and pray I gave it more than a 2-second glance. And for a while, it worked. A full week of peace. Until I got a notification from the county recorder's office. Someone had requested copies of my property deed again. Guess who? Walter Dawson. My father. Again. I called Patricia, the clerk who'd helped me before. She sounded less surprised than I hoped. Do you want to file a formal complaint this time? Oh, I'm past complaints, I said. Can we make this harassment? She paused. You might want to talk to a lawyer about that. Already ahead of her. My lawyer sent a new letter. This one was nuclear. It outlined the timeline of events, cited property law, and clearly stated that any further attempts to acquire, transfer, or claim interest in my property, directly or indirectly, would result in legal action, including seeking a protective order and pressing charges. It was not polite. It was not vague. And apparently, it hit hard enough to finally make them back off. Mostly. 2 days before Lucas and Chloe moved into a condo across town, I came home from work and found my mother parked again at the end of my driveway. She didn't get out, didn't wave, just sat there in her car for nearly 2 hours, staring at my house like it was a crime scene and she was mourning the victim. I didn't go out. I didn't speak to her. I just watched from my living room window, from the home I had earned, alone. Eventually, she left. 2 days later, I got a group text from Mom, not Lucas. Photo of their new place. Boxes everywhere. A blurry shot of the half-assembled crib. Message read, Lucas' new home. So proud of him for doing this on his own. That last line. It nearly knocked the phone out of my hand. But I didn't respond. Just muted the chat, closed the app, and went back to sanding the new shelf I was building in my entryway. Because unlike Lucas, I don't need group applause to prove I accomplished something. And because I wasn't done yet. 3 months later, their baby was born. I got a group text, again from Mom, with a photo of a wrinkly newborn in a pink onesie. Caption, meet your niece, Hannah. We hope to see you soon. Family is everything. I looked at the photo for about 5 seconds, typed congratulations, and left the chat entirely. A week after that, Mom messaged me directly. You should come meet your niece. We're having a small get-together Sunday. Just close family. 2 o'clock. I didn't respond. At 2 o'clock on Sunday, I was at Home Depot comparing tile samples for my bathroom remodel. I saw 2 missed calls from her and 1 from Dad. No voicemails. I didn't call back. A month later, I ran into Lucas at the grocery store. Literally. I turned the corner near the apples, and there he was, baby strapped to his chest, looking tired but human. We both froze. Hey, he said. Hey, I replied. Silence. The baby gurgled in her sleep. She's cute, I said, because it was the script. Thanks, he said, adjusting the carrier. Look, I know things are weird, but I gotta go. I cut in, already turning the cart. I didn't say it with anger, just finality. He called my name once, soft. I kept walking. 2 weeks later, Chloe, alone, showed up at my door. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. I opened the door, didn't invite her in. I just want 5 minutes, she said. Go. She looked tired. Not just new mom tired, this family tired. Lucas knows he messed up, she said. He wants to apologize, but he doesn't know how. He's embarrassed. And mad. And confused. Not my problem. I get it, she said. I get why you're done. But the baby, your niece. She didn't do anything. Never said she did. She's gonna grow up not knowing her uncle. That's sad, I said. But she'll survive. Chloe just looked at me. You're really not going to budge, are you? Nope. Not even for a baby. Especially not for a baby. Because next time they need something, they'll use her as leverage. I'm not doing this cycle again. She nodded slowly. Honestly, I don't blame you. She turned to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I think you were right about everything. What they asked. Insane. I'd have said no too. Thanks, I said. How's the condo? It's fine. Lucas is learning. We're figuring it out. Good. I hope it works out for you. She smiled, genuinely, and left. I stood there a second longer, looking out at my yard, my street, my house. My house. The one I saved for. Worked for. Built into something I loved. And I closed the door behind me. Locked it. Then went back to grouting the new bathroom tiles. Because unlike my brother, I don't wait for things to be handed to me. I build. About a month after Chloe came by, things finally, actually quieted down. No more calls. No texts. No drive-bys. No legal letters with friendly suggestions in bold font. It was weird. like stepping into a version of my life where I wasn't constantly bracing for emotional blackmail. I could finally just live in my house like a normal person who owned it. And then came the baby shower photos. Not for Hannah. No, that already happened. This time it was Chloe's sister throwing a post-birth welcome party, something I didn't even know was a thing, and Mom made sure I got the link to the shared album. The message said, "Everyone was asking about you. You were missed." No, I wasn't. I clicked through the pictures anyway, just out of morbid curiosity. Lucas was smiling, holding the baby like he'd never tried to steal property in utero. Chloe looked tired but happy. My parents were front and center in every shot, all grins and hugs and performative unity. And me? I didn't exist. I closed the album and opened a new one line. The one where I was documenting the bathroom remodel. Tile was done. Fixtures next. After that, kitchen. Every cabinet in there still creaked like it was narrating a horror movie, and I couldn't wait to tear them out. That night, I made a list of materials I'd need and called it the only family project I'm working on right now. Felt good. Almost too good. Which, of course, is why it didn't last. A few weeks later, I came home to a letter in my mailbox. Handwritten envelope. No return address. My stomach did that little flip, the one it does when you just know the drama's back. I opened it on the porch, because whatever this was, it wasn't coming inside with me. It was from my Aunt Carol, my mom's older sister. We hadn't spoken in years. Not out of malice, just distance. She lived 4 states away, sent Christmas cards sometimes, never really got involved in the family mess. Until now. The letter was 3 pages long. Typed. Double-spaced, like she was submitting it to a family court. The short version? She'd heard about the falling out. Mom had filled her in, or, more accurately, curated her version, and Carol was reaching out with love and concern. She wanted to know if there was any way we could all come back to the table. That life is too short to hold on to pride. That babies are bridges, not battlegrounds. She used a lot of metaphors. There was one line that actually made me snort out loud. Surely there's a compromise between keeping your house and keeping your family. I read it 3 times. Then I folded the letter back up, walked inside, and dropped it into the trash. Because here's the thing no one in my family seemed to understand. I didn't choose this fight. They did. They sat me down and asked me to surrender something I had built with my own 2 hands. Something I sacrificed years of my life to afford. They made my boundaries the problem. And now they wanted me to compromise? No, not this time. That weekend, I finally tackled the kitchen. Ripped out the cabinets. Got paint on my shirt. Stubbed my toe. It felt amazing. No applause. No group texts. Just the quiet satisfaction of earning something. But of course, when they can't guilt you anymore, they try the next best thing. The next attempt came through LinkedIn. LinkedIn. That was a new one. I got a message from a woman named Marissa. Didn't recognize the name, but the profile photo showed her holding a clipboard and smiling like she wanted to sell me a wellness package. Subject: coffee. The emoji was already suspicious. The message read, "Hi Eric. I work with your dad through the Chamber of Commerce and heard some things. He's really torn up about what's going on. Would love to meet for coffee and hear your side, if you're open to chatting." Smiley face. The smiley face made me want to slam my laptop shut like it had insulted my drywall. Let me get this straight. My dad was now recruiting third-party mediators through his professional network? Was he hoping I'd confess over cappuccino and just hand over the deed mid-latte? I didn't reply. Instead, I updated my LinkedIn privacy settings, made my profile invisible to public searches, and removed my job title entirely. You want to play games? Great. Let's play. I'll just disappear. I was done being the reasonable one, because they weren't coming for my house anymore. They were coming for my peace. And I wasn't letting anyone touch that either. I didn't hear from Marissa again, but the fact that my father had turned to strangers to get to me, that said everything. Not about me. About them. I finished the kitchen that month. It looked great. Subway tile, soft closed drawers, matte black handles. Every inch of it was mine. Not inherited. Not handed over. Built. And that felt better than any family dinner I'd ever sat through. Want to see where it all finally lands? By the time fall rolled around, I'd gone nearly 2 full months without hearing from anyone in my family. No texts. No calls. No women named Marissa sliding into my professional DMs. And for the first time in years, I wasn't just existing. I was settling in. Really living in my house. I hosted friends for dinner. Took actual weekends off. started a garden, even though I had zero clue what I was doing, and managed to kill a basil plant in under 48 hours. But it didn't matter. It was peaceful. It was mine. Then, one Saturday afternoon, I saw Lucas's name pop up at the edge of my security feed. He wasn't on my porch. He was standing across the street. No baby carrier, no Chloe. Just him, hands in his pockets, looking at my house like it might evaporate if he blinked too fast. I didn't go out. I didn't wave. I just watched. He stayed there for maybe 5 minutes, then walked off. No note. No confrontation. Just a visit. The next morning, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address again. Inside, one photo. It was Hannah, maybe 6 months old now, sitting in a pumpkin patch, grinning with 3 teeth like life was the greatest joke she'd ever heard. On the back, in Lucas's handwriting, "She'll grow up happy. I promise. And I'm sorry." No signature. No ask. Just that. I stood in my kitchen, my beautiful, painstakingly remodeled kitchen, holding that photo and thinking, this is the closest thing to closure I'll ever get from him. And weirdly, it was enough. The photo's still in my drawer. I don't look at it often, but I haven't thrown it away either. It's not forgiveness. Not exactly. It's acknowledgement. That's all I ever wanted, really. Not the housewarming speeches, or "we're so proud of you" calls that Lucas got for simply existing. Just a simple, "you did this." And we see it. Now I've got a home full of things that work because I made them work. Floors I laid. Cabinets I built. A front door I locked on purpose, and not out of spite, but out of protection. Sometimes people ask if I miss having a close family. You know what I tell them? No. I just miss the idea of it. The real thing? It wasn't ever mine. And I'm okay with that. Because the life I've built, the one no one gave me, the one no one can take, it's enough. More than enough. And every time I walk through my front door, I'm reminded of one very important truth. You don't owe anyone access to what you bled for. Not even your family. Especially not your family.